Manfred Stolpe is still a local hero in Brandenburg. He was the Social Democrat state premier for over a decade after playing an active role in the reunification of Germany in 1990. One of his most challenging tasks was to win the support of those in the East who had supported communism right up until its collapse.
Dass man also nichts verkittet, nichts verschleiert, dass man immer weiß, woran
It's about being open, always knowing what the situation is, and remembering that everyone is capable of improving and deserves a second chance. You can't say to people from the outset, look what you did back then, and say the best thing would be for them to move to Madagascar. That's not a solution.
After the fall of the Berlin Wall, Stolpe worked to make reunified Germany inclusive for all its citizens. He was 53 at the time and chief administrator of the Lutheran Church in East Germany. He had a sound network of contacts, including people in the West. For West German Social Democrats, Stolpe represented a huge success. He became the party's only state premier in the East, in the state of Brandenburg. And Stolpe was determined to give the state an identity. He also resurrected its traditional anthem. Brandenburg believed in Stolpe. But many of its citizens soon lost their belief in reunified Germany. Unemployment soared, and some lost their homes when the original owners from West Germany returned. People feared for their livelihoods, and Stolpe the lawyer stepped forward as the voice of the disempowered man on the street.
Will they have to leave?
You can stay.
Conservative politicians from the West enjoyed a warm welcome in Brandenburg, but people there preferred Stolpe, who put less pressure on them to conform to the new system.
That mentality was rooted in what they experienced during the communist era. When things went wrong, people would write to the head of state and get some kind of answer. So later they wrote to Stolpe as well. He would use this perception, but without exactly pointing out that there had been certain legal changes and other agencies were now responsible. They had the impression that writing to Stolpe was like when people used to petition the King of Prussia. People believed he would take care of things.
Many cared little about the revelations in the early 1990s concerning Stolpe's past. As a legal representative of the church, Stolpe had enjoyed close contacts to the communist regime since the 1960s. He negotiated certain concessions for Christians and also helped jailed dissidents. Later, he aided thousands of East Germans wanting to leave the country. In fact, this also meant Stolpe had to make deals with the notorious Stasi secret police. He later justified his cooperation, pointing to the success of his negotiations.
It wasn't my job to talk about people, and I certainly wasn't interested in harming anybody. I wanted to help, not harm.
Stolpe himself decided what information to give the regime in return. His contacts to the Stasi would later have political consequences. He faced special inquiries. But ultimately, there was no clear-cut evidence that he had done any harm to anybody. Stolpe's past divided the local coalition government, just as the debate over the legacy of communist East Germany was dividing the recently reunified country.
What made people sick back then was the whole good or evil question. Either you were in favor or against. The vast majority of people from East Germany did not even figure in the debate. And this sledgehammer approach is starting to resurface again today. That's not how to deal with the past.
Angewandt wird. Und so erreicht man Aufarbeitung nicht.
Brandenburg voters continued to support Stolpe and gave him an absolute majority in the next election. Voters showed much more concern about unemployment and their future than past injustices. The state legislature waited until 2009 to deal with Stolpe's legacy. As revelations about elected representatives having spied for the Stasi continued to surface, Brandenburg eventually decided to come clean with the past.
I think a lot more should have been done regarding keeping the public informed and holding public discussion about the communist regime.
No stranger to dealing with all sides even before the fall of the wall, Stolpe feared that the triumph of the new system over the old could endanger genuine unification of the people.
No thought was given to the more than 2 million party members and their families and what to do with them. That's over 4 million people in total. What mattered was finding a place for them in the system as well.
You
can only overcome this by talking about issues and acknowledging that there were different opinions, and that some people had suffered and others were responsible. It's something you have to address. I believe Stolpe assumed the best thing to do was to put a lid on it and hope things would blow over. But as you can see, they didn't blow over.
Manfred Stolpe always went his own particular way when it came to German reunification, bringing society together instead of dwelling on the past. It's an issue that continues to divide the nation.